Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Madness in Virginia. Madness. Let's first start at the top. Democratic Governor Ralph Northam had blackface on his personal page in his medical school yearbook. Okay? Over the weekend, tons of calls to resign. So far, he has chosen not to do so. He's hired a crisis communications firm, brought them on board to help him out, as he's basically lost all support among local, state, and national Democrats. Okay? That's happening. Then, of course, next, Lieutenant Governor, actually, first I'm going to deal with the Attorney General, of course, today. Now, remember, this is interesting. The Attorney General, he called for Northam to resign because of his blackface. Well, here's the problem. Now, that same Attorney General had to come out today and go, yeah, I kind of took a photo in 1980 in blackface as well. Wow, talk about drama. That's Attorney General Mark Herring. Had to admit that. Now, as we speak, the Black Caucus in Virginia, they're meeting to discuss all of this. Now, here's the piece. If all three Democrats resign, that means the Republican Speaker of the House of Delegates becomes governor. And he's Speaker because there's just one more Republican than Democrats in the House. Yes, there was one. Remember, the Democrat lost a coin flip to a Republican that decided that actual race. Talk about craziness in Virginia. Now, let's unpack the story dealing with Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. Okay, so several things happened, and that is his accuser. First of all, remember this note was posted, a conversation between his accuser and another woman. That the website that posted the blackface photo of Northam, they posted this story on Monday. Now, she initially was anonymous. Now, Dr. Vanessa Tyson, a professor at Scripps College in California, she's now publicly come out using her name. She's issued a detailed account of what Fairfax described as a consensual sexual encounter at the Democratic National Convention in Boston in 2004. Now, according to Dr. Tyson, she met Fairfax at the convention, discovered they had a mutual friend, conversed about how hard they were working on campaigns, and she agreed to accompany him on a walk to retrieve documents from his hotel room. This is what she posted today in her statement. I stood in the entryway of the room, and after he located the documents, he walked over and kissed me. Although surprised by his advance, it was not unwelcome, and I kissed him back. He then took my hand and pulled me towards the bed. I was fully clothed in a pantsuit and had no intention of taking my clothes off or engaging in sexual activity. In the back of my mind, I also knew I needed to return to convention headquarters. What began as consensual kissing quickly turned into a sexual assault. Mr. Fairfax put his hand behind my neck and forcefully pushed my head towards his crotch. Only then did I realize that he had unbuckled his belt, unzipped his pants, and taken out his penis. He then forced his penis into my mouth. Utterly shocked and terrified, I tried to move my head away, but could not because his hand was holding down my neck and he was much stronger than me. As I cried and gagged, Mr. Fairfax forced me to perform oral sex on him. I cannot believe, given my obvious distress, that Mr. Fairfax thought this forced sexual act was consensual. To be very clear, I did not want to engage in oral sex with Mr. Fairfax. I never gave any form of consent. Quite the opposite. I consciously avoided Mr. Fairfax for the remainder of the convention, and I never spoke to him again. Now, that was Dr. Vanessa Tyson. Lieutenant Governor Fairfax has stated categorically that the encounter was consensual, and earlier he released a written statement which reads in part, I'd like to begin by emphasizing how important it is for us to listen to women when they come forward with allegations of sexual assault or harassment. I know that many survivors of sexual assault suffer in silence, and it is absolutely essential to their healing and our healing as a culture that we give all survivors the space and support to voice their stories. Regarding the allegation that has been made against me, while this allegation has been both surprising and hurtful, I also recognize that no one makes charges of this kind lightly, and I take it and the situation very seriously. This has been an emotional couple of days for me and my family. And in my remarks on Monday, I think you could hear how emotional dealing with an allegation that I know is not true has been for me. I had a consensual encounter with the woman who made the allegation. At no time did she express to me any discomfort or concern about our interactions, neither during the encounters nor during 3 months following it, when she stayed in touch with me. That's the Virginia Lieutenant Governor, Justin Fairfax. Now, I want to go to my panel on this because we saw this summer. First of all, you see some reports saying that Justin Fairfax hired the law firm that helped Brett Kavanaugh. First, Fairfax hired that law firm when she made this initial allegation to the Washington Post. So Fairfax actually hired the firm before the Brett Kavanaugh hearings even took place. And so we see these stories saying he hired Kavanaugh's law firm. Well, they were on board before that. Now, she's hired the firm that Christine Blasey Ford worked with during the Kavanaugh hearings. So, I'll tell you first, you're from Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay. Your thoughts on, I'm going to have two conversations. First, let's deal with Blackface. Then I want to deal with Fairfax.
Yeah.
So, your thoughts on Herring now coming out, Northam refusing to resign, and clearly their position is, we're not leaving.
Yeah. So on the in the specific issue of this has been a couple of days. So like I'm a little, when I start talking about it, I'm a little lost for words, which I normally am not, but it's just been a couple of amazing, even the last 4 hours. But in the case of Northam, he actually did the right thing. The first instinct was, this is on my page.
On Friday.
He
apologized.
He apologized. He owned it. You know, there's now state senators, state house members who said he called, he apologized, he wanted to atone. Next morning, advisors come, it won't me. I don't know how it got on my page. It's a mistake. And then, of course, we saw the ensuing press conference that has been made jokes of in late.
And now he's hired a private investigator to figure out who was it on the page.
Right. All of this. Now, he blew an opportunity, I think, to have a really good conversation about the evolution of who he was as a person, growing up in a time in Virginia where he definitely inherited a whole bunch of messy remnants of white supremacy, Jim Crow, all of that in the capital of the Confederacy area. He blew that opportunity. What in the issue of Herring, what is very frustrating is, one, I'm glad that he put out the statement, and I think it was a very well-written statement. I think it was very thoughtful. The problem is, though, he called for Northam's resignation, supported Fairfax moving up, and knowing probably that this was somewhere in his background. If he had said, you know, he hadn't said anything at all, this would be a very different situation, right? Or if he'd said when that happened, well, since we're all sharing about Blackface, why might I want to talk about me and what I did in 1980? Right. And he missed that opportunity. So there's a lot